There's also this phenomena of where, as you're moving into this great spiritual connection, that miraculous things can happen, and even outright miracles that people report of spontaneous healing, like the natural intelligence of the body just heals itself, or in the presence of these other kinds of energies, ailments disappear. And it's vast in terms of the kinds of experiences people have.
What considerations might you have as a facilitator, and what do you think in general about connecting the dots between traditional, let's say, slower drip forms of spirituality and deepening into states of consciousness versus the immediacy and the kind of the intensity of the force behind something like an ayahuasca experience that produces such effects?
Yeah, it's such a great question. I think if the goal is experience, you could think of ayahuasca and other kinds of visionary plants as a great accelerant, because you have the experience, and it creates an incredible tangibility to the other kinds of teachings. But ultimately, there is a natural importance to the journey itself over 10, 20, 30, 40 years of practice. An example in my own career, what I understood at 5 years is completely different to what I understand now, 20 plus years into the practice. And I'm humble enough to understand that I wouldn't even speculate on what it would look like at 40 or 60 years. I would just hope that it would continue to grow and evolve as much as I can put into it, because of how dynamic the last 20 years have been. And so I think the part of the contemplative practice's difficulty is having a Western mind and not really being able to be in that monastery situation for most people, and then kind of dancing between what to do with the mind, hoping that some of the teachings or all the teachings are actually real and accurate, but not having any kind of tangible experience with it. So I think if we're in these contemplative practices and we can go to the plant medicines to bring a kind of reality and true realism to the experience, that can really give context and body to this incredible amount of knowledge that's been amassed in the Eastern philosophical contemplative practices over the last 10,000 years. And I think if you don't have those practices and you just go into the plant medicines, there isn't really a roadmap of what to do with these experiences. So we can go from never having had the experience directly into a divine state of oneness, and then you're right back to 2 days later going to work, and you're sitting in traffic wondering, what do I do with this? How do I integrate this? How do I actually bring context to this? And what does that mean for me? So I think that's where there's a tremendous blend. So I like to think of it as like a big Venn diagram. We can use the plant medicine practices to support the contemplative practices. We can use this vast array of skills that you develop in the contemplative practices to bring context, grounding, balance, and understanding to the plant medicine experiences, and potentially even create a new kind of tradition out of it that has both.